हे व्यूअर्स, तो आज का हमारा टॉपिक है हाउ टू डील विद स्टूडेंट्स डिस्ट्रप्टिव बिहेवियर इन क्लासरूम. So if you are finding difficulty in handling, preventing, managing students' disruptive behavior in classroom, if you are spending more time in handling students' behavioral issues rather than in teaching, if you usually react to their behavioral issues like you scold them or you give them punishment, if you are more concerned about the overall growth of students, this video is for you. So stay tuned till end. Before starting, I have a question for you. Have you ever attended any formal class which addressed the behavioral issues of students? I know most of you will give answer as no. So this is the main reason. It is due to which teachers quit their profession. They find themselves incapable to handle the situation because they are never trained for it. In B.Ed also, we are more concerned about teaching students the teaching strategies, teaching methodologies, teaching tactics, but somewhere we are lacking in this aspect. At most, you have tried extrinsic motivation for these kind of students. Extrinsic motivation means you can give praise to students in front of other students for some small thing. You can clap for the student who is having these type of behaviors in front of other students. You can name him in front of other students or teachers. You can give him some token of appreciation as prize. You can give him extra marks or grades to him for some effort or some good work. So these things do work, there's no doubt, but in some situation these things are not sufficient. The behavior, the disruptive behavior level of student is so high that these things do not sufficient for them. What do we need to do in those cases? We need, along with the extrinsic motivation, we need to address social and emotional problems of students. How we can do that? We can do that through informal talks. Like we can talk with students anything. We need not to be teacher every time. We can be their friend, or we can counsel the students to go deeper in what is there which is hurting them, which is troubling them, due to which they are showing these kind of negative emotions. You can connect to the students with different activities of their interest, like you can help them in a project, you can play some educational games with students, you can go outside to play outdoor games, you can play indoor games in school premises. These things will help you to maintain some cordial relation and with students. Also, you can try some informal discussions over different topics deviated from studies. Like there's no harm if you will discuss with students about their about the topics of their interest, like movies. You can talk about movies, you can talk about their TV shows, you can talk about their any kind of sport which they like. So basically these things help you to make close contact with students. They will feel comfortable in talking to you. This is only a track. This is the way you can reach to your final point. You can find out what is the problem, what is the behavior problem, what is the negative emotion, why is those negative emotions the student is facing. So the whole idea of addressing emotional and social problems of students roam around the term restorative teaching. What is that? Restorative words come from the word restore. Restore means to gain back, to maintain that, whatever positive we have, to gain back rather than to react on that. So these have two dimensions. One is we need to avoid punishment, giving punishment to students. We should not embarrass student in front of others, we should not harass students or any type of action which let the pupil down in front of others. We should avoid that. On the other hand, we should indulge students in healthy classroom environment, in cordial teacher-pupil relationship. We should maintain the dignity of child. We should value their identity. We should take care of their will and needs. How we can do that? There are 3 dimensions of restorative teaching. CRR. C stands for communication. Communication means you need to communicate with students. But how you can do that? First, you need to observe the students. There can be positive emotions also. There can be negative emotions also. Both can be destructive in one way. Positive emotion means making new friends, learning new skills, learning new sports. So some students get excited for this. When they are more excited, they tend to create disturbance in class. Not intentionally, maybe intentionally, may not be intentionally, but they tend to create some disturbance in class. And negative emotion means anxiety, anger, frustration, jealousy, fear, shame. These negative emotions will turn into disruptive behavior, which will ultimately create disturbance in class. And if you are not trained to handle these things, you tend to spend more time on giving punishment to students, scolding students, rather than teaching. And ultimately, your relation, teacher-pupil relation, will be on stake. So by observing these emotions, you can easily communicate with students by reaching up to their level. Again, as I have discussed earlier, there are different ways how you can communicate with students. You can communicate through informal talks, counsel, or connect with students, games, sports, different activities, discussion. Next, R means restitution. What is restitution? Again, restitution is to restitute what we have. See, there are some root causes. These root causes will turn into negative emotions, and these negative emotions again will turn into disruptive behavior. As a teacher, we always focus on behavior. We see students' disruptive behavior in class, students creating disturbance in class, we tend to give them punishment. Or we try some extrinsic motivation, sometimes that work and sometimes that don't work. So basically our focus should be on root cause, not on behavior. If we'll focus on root cause other than behavior, what will happen? We'll try to find out the actual reasons why the student is showing those negative emotions, and we can work on that reason. That can be anything. That can be due to bullying in the class, due to jealousy with some students, due to some home environment, due to lack of parental support, anything. But you need to focus on that. You need to find out the reason and work on that, rather than you need to work on their behavior. If you will work on the root cause, ultimately those negative emotions will vanish and behavior will be normal. Third R is for relationship. again, the relationships will build up from communication only. These three are interconnected. CRR. The relationship will build from communication. You will communicate with students, you will find the reason, you will restitute the things rather than giving punishment. But again, you have correlation with students. That does not mean you can't give punishment to students, you can't scold the students. 3 hours if you ever feel need to give punishment to students. Those are the related, reasonable, respectful. What is related? Your punishment should be related to their mistake. It is not like they have done some other mistake, they have done mistake and they have done some grammatical error, and you are giving them punishment, you are making him stand in front of whole class, or you are marking bad words to him in front of class. So in that case, you need to give him some extra work related to grammatical learning, or you can give him project, or you can make him sit with other student which is good in grammar, so that he will learn from him something. So these things you can try. So this is basically not punishment, this is only your way to restitute. Second is reasonable. If you are giving punishment, it should be reasonable. It is not like a mistake is a little mistake. For a little mistake you are giving severe punishment. Like a child made only one mistake and you have expelled him from your class from 10 days, or you are giving him that much work which he is unable to do in one day. The punishment should be reasonable. Whatever you are going to do, you are going to give him some task even, that should be reasonable. Third is respectful. Again, respectful means in any case, I'm marking in any case, whatever will happen in class, you should not use bad words to students. In front of other students. You should not humiliate him in front of others. You should respect him. You should maintain his dignity. Because your one bad word is okay, he will tolerate, but after that other students, bullying of other students will embarrass him more. So after all this, what changes you will see in your students? Students enjoy the learning process, they will feel engaged in learning process. You will see emotionally resilient students. Emotionally resilient means they will adapt to those situations now. They will not create the disturbance in class anymore. A strong relation between you and students, you will find that you are now getting more time of teaching rather than handling the students. If this fails, if you will not see all these changes, what you can do? You can try a small action plan. You can define the problems, specific problems you need to define. If student is having maths problem is okay, but what is there in maths? Whether he is having problem in algebra, whether he is having problem in numeracy, calculation, whether he is having problem in trigonometry, or he is not able to adapt the methodology. Accordingly, you will collect the data. The data can be direct or indirect. Direct data means you can yourself or other teachers will collect the data at that particular point. Indirect means you can collect the data from their peer mates or other teachers, past teachers who have taught him or her. Then you can identify the reasons why he is facing that problem. You can develop hypothesis different hypotheses and design the strategies to remove those reasons. Finally, you will execute best possible strategies for you and analyze the outcomes. That's it for today's video. Thank you very much. If you have any doubt, any query or any feedback, please do comment. Thank you.